So we are going to use this. I started the recording of our. Uh, okay, Ronak, what's your question? Yes, Ronak. Ronak, just say it. Yes, you can speak.
And sir,
Yesterday's session I will share it by after editing because it's have too many glitches, network down. Okay, so
okay,
it's
sir.
not something that, and I'm also going to repeat the same thing today. Same means a little bit of it. Okay, so combiningly I will install all those things. Uh, just a minute. हाँ सर lecture में busy हूँ. Okay. So we'll see that yesterday's session. I will upload it on YouTube. No problem. That's not the problem here. So let's see what we are going to see today. Okay, I'm not going to play any presentation today. Instead, we are going practically so that you can come to know what exactly is the business process modeling and notations and what is unified modeling language and why it is so important in software engineering and why it is used by the people. Okay, almost all the principles that we'll studied or learned through the presentation seems to be theoretical, but this subject is entirely practical subject. It is like I'm trying to teach you swimming just by reading a book, no swimming pool and nothing. So software engineering is something like that. uh, if you really want to learn the software engineering, you should have to take some project in your hand, a small project, and then it's maybe a simple project like designing a notepad, designing a calculator or something, or it's maybe a very complex project like say designing an integrated development environment like your NetBeans and something. Okay, so it's depend. But when we say software, software is a product. Product need to be sold or product need to be used by different people. So here I am going to show you two softwares. These softwares, one is free, open source, and completely available for you, so that you can actually practice software engineering process on your computer using this. And this first we will going to see what you can say the search for this software. So I'm sharing my browser window. Here in browser window, if you see, if you go and search here as a free open source, okay, free open source, okay, you have to simply say BPMN, business process modeling and notation, and UML tools. So when you say business process modeling and notation and UML tools, okay, and when you press enter in Google, this will give you a search result. Okay, so the first search result that will give you this modelio.org. If you go to modelio.org, you will get a complete suite which is capable to create all the business process modeling and notation diagrams. Means your all UML diagrams, your ER diagram, network diagram, this diagram, that diagram, all diagrams are possible with this tool. Okay, this is a free software. And think there must have to be one tool, and that is another is the free UML tool, that is a visual paradigm. The visual paradigm come in two version. One is a community version, another is a commercial version. So we are not going for the commercial version, but if you go to the visual paradigm, you will find it is very easy to use, and you can create the use case diagram or other UML diagram for your project, because you require to write down your project reports somehow. You require to go through these two software. So I'm going to execute these softwares are already installed on my machine, so I'm using them. just to show you what exactly it means. So first I will show you the visual paradigm. Let's say first go to the site itself. This is a part of your syllabus. In your third unit, you are having the all UML views. Okay, and for that you require to draw and create this UML view. So this is an example of a class diagram which is given complete thing, and this is what you can have about the visual paradigms. I just showing this now. If you go with say demo pricing and like other things, or even if you go with the download, you will find if the full feature visual tool is there. And if you go with the comparison, here you will find you are having a community edition which is free. But this community, these are the different diagrams which are used: use case diagram, class diagram, sequence diagram, communication diagram, state machine diagram, activity diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram, package diagram, composite structure diagram, timing diagram, interaction overview diagram, entity relationship diagram, SysML requirement diagram, SysML block definition diagram, system modeling language, internal block diagram, SysML's parametric diagram, business concept diagram. Then you are having the business process modeling diagram, data flow diagram, flowchart flowchart, time collaboration or collaboration diagram things. So these are network diagram, rack diagram, Venn diagram, and even the floor plan. So these are all the diagrams which are generally used. Now these other diagrams of BPMN are not available in visual paradigm, while the entire BPMN with UML is available in Modilio. So my thing is that so you should have to go for the modilio.org if you want to create what you can say a serious application. So if you go to this Modelio, which is UML and BPMN free modeling tool website, you will get the all diagrams. So you will get UML, BPMN, and Archimate. So Archimate also you can have here. You can contribute to this as because this is open source, and you can have notes and everything for this Modelio. And there are various you can say tutorials available on social media sites like yeah, YouTube and Twitch and other where. The one thing is that today attendance is really not that sufficient. Only 34 people still now 35 people join, and many of you are having still that habit of keeping your windows closed. You know that when you close your window, an exclamatory mark comes just before your name, and it shows whether you are giving any attention to that. Even if you unplug the earphones from your ear, it also shows that you are not. Vex is not giving any uh, uh, excuse to us. Okay, so now we are on 39 attendees. Let's you will join by, but don't make this a practice of joining with a lecture, sir. So we'll go with the uh, software. So you download my thing is that you must download the Modelio and Visual Paradigm both on your machine. Okay, and whichever suits you better, use that. Okay, whichever suits you better, use that for we can say your uh, work. Now we are going to I'm going to close this and minimize the browser, and first I'm going to run this Modelio. On Modelio input. Okay, so I'm just maximizing this. We'll get a better view. Here you require to create the new project. I created this new project, shopping in Waguli. I'm deleting this instead of deleting this project. I will just see. So when you create this project, shopping in Waguli, so see here project is there. Yeah. Wait. Options. You are having these sub projects, creates macros, import, export. You can have the create diagrams and likewise. So you can uh, go here and say, that is, if we say you are having the local module and you are having the shopping in Wagoli, these are the UML diagrams. So right clicking on the shopping in Wagoli, it's show the different elements. So you say that is what elements you want, and likewise. So you can say element, that is a package. Okay, so I have to use the package first. Now we say package is created. When we create the package, is create two package. Shopping in Waguli is the main package and this is the sub package to this. So instead of model, I am seeing this as a use case package, or you can say this as a use case view, or all diagrams can also be added here. So when we say use case here, I'm saying right click on this package, it says create diagram. Okay, so you should have to open the this diagramming wizard. So when you open this diagram wizard, I'm not going to draw the diagrams now. I'm going to give you the information of all the diagrams in UML which are the part of your syllabus. Rest BPMN, business process model and notations, are out of your syllabus or they are beyond your syllabus. So if time permits, then we will go through the entire software, okay, for this. So first we'll see with the initial diagram, that is a use case diagram. So here is what use case diagram stands for. So this is the symbol. This is a symbol for actor. Okay, so here you are having the first actor, that is messaging user. This messaging user actually relate with this use case. This is the symbol for use case, and this use case is having the interactively dialogue there. And this use case includes identify oneself, and there is one you can say use case from the database, that is a show a schema, which actually extends to this interactively dialogue. So this identifies this. Then here you are having the moderator. Okay, this is the another actor. This moderator actually have a simple use case, that is what you can say bar a group, and you are having another use case which is coming from an application bar a user. The problem here is that this use case bar a user actually inherits the property of bar a group. Means if you say in mathematical notation, if you say this as b, okay, this as b, and if you consider bar a group as a set a, okay, then in a set notation you can say b, okay, here you can say that b is the proper subset, is actually proper subset of a. So b actually inherits all the properties of a. So this is what you can have here. So this is the use case diagram. So when we go on drawing the use case diagram, you require to draw this use case diagram for the purpose to create the use case diagrams, and likewise. Now why these use case diagrams are important, let's say see, we are going to see that afterwards. Now let's move to the next use case diagram, and this next use case diagram here is sub package structure diagram. So whenever you are having an application, that entire application generally have two or three modules. For example, here you are in the style pad as the one module, and then you are having this another module as a notepad. So this notepad is one module, and style pad is the another module. The thing is that this style pad depends on the notepad to style the text, while notepad depends on the style pad for styling it text. So if you go with these modules, these two modules, what we call as a strongly cohesive with each other. So they interact with each other in such a way that it is quite difficult to what you can say what uh, apart them from each other. So we say these are the as strongly cohesive model. So when you have the strongly cohesive model, it actually form the system. It's actually form the system. For example, if you see here, okay, here if I click on this file menu, I get create project, save project, close project. This is the one thing which is with the project, but at the same time I can import a project, switch to project, and I have to exit. So all these things are strongly cohesive because they are, that's why they are gathered together. Okay, that's why they are gathered together, and this is what we can say in a system. Now the next is this, what you can say this, after this use case, generally when in requirement engineering you get the complete use case diagram, you should simply go to this class diagram. Class diagram is the architecture. For example, here you are having a subject is a class. What this subject have, the things, attach is the operation, detach is the operation, notify is the operation. So one subject can have many observer, where observer updates the thing. So this is the association relationship. Concrete observer inherits the property of this observer, so this update operation is available. So this update operation is available with this concrete observer, because this update is actually inherited from the observer. Now this have the many subject. A concrete observer can have many subjects, and it should have to have a concrete subject which actually combines to one. For example, when we say concrete subject as your ty, okay, ty as your concrete subject, in that case all the subjects that you actually choose in your course, okay, that you actually choose in your course are called as, what you can say, the uh, observer subjects. Many subjects are there, like web technology, software engineering, and likewise. So here you are having this different operation. This plus science stand, for example, you are having this science, you know, minus means private, okay, and this hash symbol is there, which means protected, and plus means public. So these are the different symbols that you are having. Now in same way, if you go with the other diagrams, so this is a symbol for class diagram. You are having the activity diagram. This symbol in activity diagram, uh, field circle, this shows the activity started. So what activity is there? You are having first activity as the insert card. This is all about the ATM machine or something. Here you are having the enter pin. This will be the second activity. Now when you enter the pin, the machine required to make a decision. Machine required to make a decision. So if pin is invalid, it have to confiscate the pin. If it is valid, it have to display the menu. Okay, and we are not this is an example diagram, so they are not given other activities after display menu, but here this activity ends. So this is the activity diagram. Okay, so when we say this is an activity diagram, this actually shows how your system data or process actually flows. So this is actually the replacement for your uh, data flow diagram, and your control flow diagram uh, in using this. Then you are having business process modeling and networks collaboration diagram. So this collaboration diagram shows that there are users, they require to open the new account, they require to verify the details, and they require to do this thing. So you get here all the things. Uh, so here we are getting all these thing. So account creation cancelled. These are the symbols actually used by the diagramming tools. Now this business process collaboration is beyond syllabus in your syllabus of software engineering and management. We are not dealing with this. Business process diagram is also not in your syllabus. But if you really want to start your own small business, or if you really want to become a serious software engineer, you should have to consider software in terms of a business, because software is a product, and when software is a product, you should and must always have to use these diagramming tools to define everything of your softwares, about your software. So here you are having this business process diagram again. This just like your activity diagram, what you are saying is a cancel, okay, send, you can then you have this communication diagram. Communication diagram shows that this is actor is object of type passenger. He presses some button or something, so it is a elevator button. When elevator button is pressed, the request is sent to elevator controller. Elevator controller sends what you can say the move or command to the elevator. Elevator gives response to this move command when it reach to the particular floor. When it reach to the particular floor, elevator controller gives the stop command. Once the stop command is given, the sixth command is the open and seventh is the close. Okay, so this is what you can say the lift complete operation. Okay, so here you are having this, these numbers are given for this operation, which operation occurs when. So this is called as a communication diagram in UML. After this communication diagram, you are having a deployment diagram. Deployment diagram is the last diagram in UML, but the sequence given in the Modelio is wizard is this, so I'm just going by that. So firewall is where you are putting the firewall. Then you are putting firewall first for the communication. Here you are having the TCP/IP one-on-one network, means you are using the HTTPS, that is secure hypertransfer protocol, and TCP/IP. Then you are using the local network, and in this local network is having the Ethernet connectivity, and then you are having this primary server, and here you are having this element like this. So here you are having the different workstations. So this is what you can say the complete scenario in the thing. So this is a deployment diagram. Now you know that is on one PC you are having firewall. There is a local network, means there are many PCs. For this many PCs you are having this primary server and a workstation, and they are having the connectivity, and you are trying to you can say show this in a deployment diagram. Now what is object diagram? So I have given you many times things. Here you are having the example. First, man is a class. Here, man is a class, woman is a class. Okay, man and woman are the class, while Jack is an object of type man. So when we say Jack is an object of type man, it is actually denoted with the symbol of colon and then underline. So Jack colon man underline, Mary colon woman underline. This shows that Mary is a object of type woman. So Mary's class is woman, Jack class is say is man. So what is Jack? Jack have the relationship title husband. Mary has the relationship title wife, and they have the association with each other. So we can say Mary is the wife of Jack, and Jack is the husband of Mary. Okay, Jack is the husband of Mary. So they are having a child. So what is this? This is an association here. This Anna child is Anna, where Anna is of type woman. So the class of Anna is woman, and the attributes are given here. That is Jack's object attribute is that age is 45. Here you are having this age as a 42, huh? And here you are having this age of this Anna as a 13, where you are having another child, Michael, okay, or Michelle or Michael, whatever you can call, is a man, okay, and his age is 10. So what is the interface between this Jack and Mary is the marriage. So marriage is actually the interface between them. So or what can I say, the communication criteria between them, due to which this Mary have given what you can say birth to these two child. So this is the class diagram conversion into an object diagram. So here you have an object diagram. So man and woman, only two classes are there. but there are so many objects from these classes, and there are different what can I say relationship, and those different relationships have different interfaces. Yes, so these are actually defined when you are in the class diagram. After this class diagram, you are in the package or structure diagram, which are generally automatic here in the software, but when it comes to ourselves or designing a software, we require to design this in a complete way. Then you are having the sequence diagram. Package means you are having the different packages. For example, here you are having file is the one package, edit is one package, configuration is one package, views is one package, help is one package. All these packages are gathered together to form the most say the complete Modelio system package. Then you are in the sequence diagram. Sequence diagram actually shows what you are making in a sequence. So you are having here the one object, a machine which is of type class computer. Okay, so this is an object. Here you are having a machine which is of type class server. So this is an one object, and here you are having a human or a system user which is having one only one operation, and that one operation is check email operation. So when this check email operation starts, what exactly is doing? First operation for the check email, send what you can say email. Okay, so this is the timeline, or this is what we call as the timeline of the users thing, and these are the timeline responses of processing. One is processing, another processing, and likewise, and this dash you can say as the wait, that is server is waiting for the next input from the check email email client or from the client. Uh, Based on the input from client, it's process it and goes on. It got these things, okay, it's processed these things and goes on, and then it actually sends back the response to the uh, to the client. So this is what we call as a sequence diagram. So after this sequence diagram, you are in the state machine diagram. So what exactly the state machine diagram is? State machine diagram simply shows that there is a first state. Okay, I am saying first. Okay, or the initial state. So this initial state is shown with a simple uh, solid circle, which have the create as the first operation. So this when you go on create operation, you enter into a state open. Okay, this open state goes to the closed state with the close message. If it is closed, you can reopen itself. Okay, if it is not say closed, you can lock the things. Okay, and if it is locked, you can unlock the things. So you are having three states here, and you are actually trying to show this. Now if you see this state diagram, these are quite similar with what you can say your diagrams, so what we call them as DFA, finite automata, or NFA, non-finite automata, and likewise. So these are the replacement, or you can say substitute for that DFA. We have already seen the sub packages and likewise. So I'm saying now here, uh, if I go on saying OK, okay, so it says that use case diagram. It says state machine diagram. So if we click on the state machine diagram, okay, if I click on the state machine diagram, it shows all the symbols of state machines, whatever the symbols available in state machine, and those I simply have to drag and drop. So this is the start symbol, what call say initial symbol. Initial symbol is drop here. So from this symbol, it can go into the one state, another state, and likewise. So we'll instead of I'll go, so these are the thing. So this is a simple way of using. For example, here you are having a region, so we are creating a region. Here you are having the state, so we are creating a state here. So state is created. Now this state actually start with this command diagram here, and we are saying that is this as the terminate state. Here you are having the transition, so you are creating the transition from this state to this state. So we created a transition that is from initial state to the new state, and it will ask you for the different properties and other thing. uh, I'm not going much you can say in depth with the Modelio software, because it's required you have to be very you can say. So this say, and if you are having say end, okay, you are having this end state, and this is again you are showing the transition from this state to end state. So here we can say this transition is made from this state. Okay, so you got this is a start, this is eight, and in between you can have the multiple states. So in this way you can draw the diagram. Now let's see what these symbols exactly means. These symbols are not defined. Means, if you see this, here you will say, yeah, this is a state symbol. This is a region symbol. This is what you can see do internal transitions. These are the symbols for the different. This is for join. You may have the two or three states. For example, you may have the one state here. Okay, you have the one state here, and then you may have the other state here. Okay, and here you may have the something for the joining, and this joining state need to be shown like this, and here you are having another transition, and you are showing this transition here. So you can say that from this state you are having the transition. So means you are having two state, for example, and let's say this state is initiated from this transition from this state. So you can have this transition which is actually initiated from the this state. So when this state is giving, okay, so you have to enter join, you have to enter notes here. That is what you are actually doing, and you have to close this, so it create the entire documentation of your software. So this is what you can see the state diagram. So here you are having this diagram. Now this is the one software that you can use to create the use case diagram as well as class diagram and other diagrams of the UML for software engineering. These diagrams are the part of your syllabus, while the software is not the part of your syllabus. But for practical purpose, because few of you actually asked me this, sir, this actually complained this, that this software seems to be very uh, the software seems to be very software engineering and management subject. It seems to be very theoretical, but it is not actually theoretical, because once your diagrams are created, then you can convert this into the project. Okay, so you can actually convert this into the project. For example, if you say new project, okay, I'm closing the first project without saving it. So if I say new project, it says Java project. If you click this Java project, all your diagram will automatically get converted into Java language. What you can say a template code, something like that. Okay, we are not going in detail. So Modelio is explained to you what I am expecting from you people, that you will go through the Modelio, and then I will do. I yet not activated the community edition of Visual Paradigm, and I will activate it later on. It is a free. Okay, so instead of activating it, I'm just showing you this now Visual Paradigm. Here in Visual Paradigms, you will get all the diagrams available. These are the Visual Paradigms, what you can say, interface. So if you go here, you will have these diagrams. So how many diagrams are there in UML? Use case, class, sequence, communication, state machine, activity, component, deployment, package, object, composite structure, timing, interaction, overview. Then for requirement capturing, you are in textual analysis, requirement diagram, business concept diagrams, class relation collaboration diagram, responsibility collaboration diagram. Then you have material design. These things we actually learn in our second unit, requirement analysis. Database modeling, you are having entity relationship diagram, and then this ORM diagram. Okay. Then these are the beyond syllabus diagram which comes in the business modeling. Okay, block definition say. So these many actually diagrams are actually get created when it's come to creating your serious software development. Okay, so obviously not all diagrams are necessary to all the you can say software products. Then you are having this explorer. So here you simply have to say if you are in the existing project, then open. Okay, we are not having any existing process, just go to the new, and if you go to the new, give some project to your name to your project. Let's call this right now as a ASR, and I'm saying create blank project. So it actually creates the blank project, and here in visual paradigms it is quite easier than Modelio to create the diagrams, because Modelio is community edition of visual paradigms is easier. Okay, than the Modelio is the full-fledged agile software development tool. Okay, where team can act together. So we created this uh, ASR. So here in ASR we are going to create different diagrams. So if I want to create the use case diagram, just select this, right click on this, okay, and say new use case diagram. So it will automatically open this thing. These are the tool tips that I'm not saying. So here you are having this use case. Here simply drag and drop is there. So you require to drag. So use case is draw, actor is there, actor drop, association is there, that this use case is associate. Okay, so association use case. So actor say use case is associated, use case 2, you can have this association symbol here. Then here you are having this include. So what you can say include, we say this is include. What include as particular type of thing. So you are having this use case, this is use case, include, and likewise. Generalization, you may have one actor or another actor is there. Let's call this actor as the user. So first is just the actor and this actor. Now what this actor is having, name and other details. So generalization shows that this actor. The generalization shows that these actors actually uh, so this user. So this here you are having this user generalization user is there. So you are saying this is like how the sharing platform actually making some eh? Here you are in this collaboration element group. Note is something that whenever you create this use case diagram, you require to write something about the software. So whenever you write something about the software, those things are generally shown in the notes. Okay, so you can have this in a notes, and these notes are generally linked with this anchor element. So you can have this anchor element, and you can so you can add all the description in the notes. This is the one thing. So use case diagram is created. You can go to this next. You can go to the class diagram, and you can say here, okay, new class diagram. So it will automatically show you the all symbols which are used in the class diagram: constraint, nodes, race, services, model, collaboration, abstraction, dependency, association. And if you go through this, you will get all the details of this. It's just a drag and drop, so you simply have to drop the class. You get the class name. For example, here you can have a person as a class. Okay, so person is a class. Then you can have the another class here. Okay, this class you can say man. Then here you are in another class. Let's call this as woman. Okay, so these are the two classes. They are of type person. So there is a generalized symbol. I think there is some problem with this generalization, but still try it. Okay, so it shows association. Uh, So here you can say that person inherits the properties. Actually, we require to have this. So here you know now this man inherits all the attributes of person. In the same way, you can have this woman inheriting all the attributes of the person, and this is a thing. Then you have this an area association. You can have abstraction, and likewise. So if we consider this all diagramming things, and likewise package is something that is when you create all this, you simply have to create one larger package, and you have to put these things, all these diagrams, in a package itself. So you can say this package as, you can say the class diagram, you can say the structure. Okay, client program architecture. Client program architecture is your class, and you can have all these diagrams put inside this package. So this is what you can say. Now what is constant? Constant means what exactly the definition is here, that is a condition under which a behavior will be executed. So you have to act within a particular frame or within a particular, or you can say limitation. Then you can call it as the yes right. Someone just raised the hand. I think Bisan Raj or something. So, what's your question? Actually, this question and answer. Okay, please share yesterday's session only. Well, when you raise the hand, what happened actually, we are having here around 86 participant right now. And I have to actually scroll through all those participant lists to go to the person. And while in between that goes on, so instead of just raising the hand, it will be easier for me if you put your question in question and answer box. Okay, in question and answer box, if you put your question, or we can go for the other session where we can conduct all these things like a one-to-one question answering session, like a conference session afterwards. Okay, so here is a simple what you can say uh, homework assignment to you people. That is, you have to use these two softwares, okay, and uh, create the diagrams using these tools. I am not saying correct diagrams, okay, your diagrams may be wrong, but try to master these tools and use these tools to create your diagrams. So when you say, for example, here you can go with things, you can go on sequence diagram, you can go on communication state machine, and all these diagrams. So this is what we are having now. What I actually told you, that I am going to repeat what we have means actually what I told you in yesterday's lecture. I'm simply creating a new diagram so that I can get a white space here. Uh, uh, Again, white space. Uh, now white space is available to me. So here I can use my toolbox to draw this. So what I said yesterday is, as in place of that, I can go for the component diagram. Okay, component diagram is already there. So we are talking about component and interfaces. So we'll have the component and interfaces here. So we generally have what? A component. A component symbol is this is a component symbol. Let's say we are having a file processing component. File processing component. Let's make this component a bigger, okay. And this component is shown with this symbol. Okay. This file processing component is shown with the symbol. And now this file processing component actually realizes interfaces. The interface which is realized by these components are generally shown by the what you can say as a circle. So this can have these interfaces, realize interfaces. So you are having this interface realize here. Okay, so here you can have the keyboard interface. Okay, then you may have the graphical user interface, means mouse interface. Okay, mouse interface. Then you may have the touchscreen interface, or you can have the camera interface, or you can say the intelligent interface. So I'm seeing webcam, webcam interface, where actually computer says you, and you may have something what we call as an observer interface. Observer. So these interfaces are two types. Here, if you see these two interfaces, okay, if you see these two interfaces here, okay, these are keyboard interface, which is actually realized by this component. First keyboard interface, and this is the your mouse interface. These are realized by the component. But when these are realized by the component, these interfaces are actually of type explicit interfaces, where input is given by the user. consciously. I have to type the things. I have to consciously move this cursor here to draw something. Okay, which is not the case if in these two. Now here you are having the implicit interfaces. What implicit interfaces is there, that user need to do something, just need to do something. For example, let's say suppose if I show a victory sign to this thing, then this webcam will observe this victory sign and will say, okay, it say that there is a victory sign, so it will automatically type here victory. For example, when you talk and the speech to text converter automatically type that, or your voice commands are actually received by your smartphone, and it's execute accordingly. So that is what we call as an implicit, where user is actually not using any keyboard device or any pointer device like touchscreen or mouse. Okay. Now there is an observer. What is an observer? You are not consciously showing these victory signs or things to the computer, but the computer is observing the environment and the changes in environment using different type of sensors, and based on those changes and some calculations respond accordingly, and that is called as an observer, or implicit human computer interaction. So when it comes to component diagram, when it comes to component analysis of something, you have to decide which type of interface you are going to design, because the type of interface that you are actually going to design decides the complexity of your software. This is the easiest way, keyboard method. A little bit what you can say difficult is using pointer devices. Then using image processing, webcam is a more difficult, and this is the pervasive computing, completely implicit human interaction model, or you can say the interaction model of the machines, which uses the sensor networks and observes the environment or the object or subject in a that environment, and based on the activities, or you can say the expressions of that particular subject or object, it take the decision and accordingly respond to that person. For example, let's say suppose you have a room, and in this room you created the sensors which senses the environment. Let's say the summer season is there, and this sensor senses the environment, that outside temperature is going 40-degree above. It automatically start the AC. You don't require to press any button or something, and likewise it automatically start the AC and try to maintain the temperature inside the room. Okay. And if the external temperature goes down, let's say suppose 27 degree, it automatically heats up the room to 32 or 32 degrees centigrade, so that you can uh, say won't feel the cold of the outside environment. So here the sensor is observing continuously. So this is called what you can say the observer interface, which actually won't require any conscious effort from the human being or any other machine to give input to the system. And this is the future. This is called as artificial intelligence, and this is the future interfaces for all type of upcoming softwares. If you fail to have this type of you can say upcoming softwares, so not have this type of interfaces, then those softwares may not be so may not be used by the users hereafter. Because let's right now we are taking these online classes, but right now I require to do many things manually. For example, this annotation and everything, and at the same time I require to draw these diagrams. Okay. And likewise, and I just how to adjust many things. Now let's say suppose the laptop's eye is observing me, means the webcam is observing me, and just based on my what you can say talk, based on my hand movements, based on my eye movements, it will automatically calculate what exactly I want to say. For example, when I say component diagram, instead of manually moving this cursor here and then opening this component diagram, it can automatically go to the component diagram and open that component diagram. If say choose the component, it will choose the component, and likewise. So if it goes voice command, if it goes observation command, likewise, then that interface will be very easy to use for online teaching, even for online operations. And so this is the future interface and things. So I suggest, I assume that today's uh, session, I won't call this as a lecture, because we have actually taken the hands-on here for two softwares. One is a Visual Paradigm Community Edition, and another is Modelio. Okay, so what I am expecting from you people, that is, you people will, so all you students will use either of this software. Either you are going to use the Modelio, or you are going to use the Visual Paradigm to design different what different uh, diagrams, UML diagrams for your projects. And we are going to see those diagrams when you start working on this. We'll go, we'll look into it in a more detailed way. So today just have given the hands-on introduction to these two softwares, and at the same time covered the UML diagram, that is the last point of your third unit. Now whatever we are taking from this third unit is beyond syllabus, the interface and all other things, which will which we will start from tomorrow. Okay, so there are around 2 3 presentations are there for that. And so today is Tuesday. Yes, and Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So on Friday, we will complete the third unit, uh, including the behind syllabus part of the third unit. And from next Monday, we will start with the fourth unit. So we'll go with a little bit speed. So if something is not covered by me, which is in your syllabus, or something which is given extra by me, which is not in your syllabus, kindly note the things to me. Now you are free to ask the questions. One thing is, I expect always from you, just ask the questions. Uh, Yesterday's session I'm going to upload in combination with today's session, because yesterday, due to the too many network glitches, I hardly got 15 or 10 15 minutes only for the that session. So instead I'm going to combine these two, and instead of uploading the unedited videos, because uploading unedited videos is not good thing to do, I will edit this video by cutting out the waiting time and the last one. So I'm really thankful to all you guys for remaining with me for this complete hours. If you like this session, today's session I'm saying, okay, at least give me a thumbs up on question and answers if you're not asking me the questions. Yes. Well, at least. Okay, so I'm just trying to identify few guys: Ajay, Venjani, Aniket. Okay, and there is one thing from me. There are many people who actually keep there. Many people actually ask the questions. For example, Kajal asked a question, but problem is that she haven't typed that question, and because it's muted, so I won't heard the question. So you can, Kajal, I unmuted you. You can ask the question.
Question football.
Yes?
No question.
No question. Okay. Sushil, I unmuted you. You can ask the question. Okay. So Raunak already typed that question, so I have given this answer to him. And other okay, Ritik Raj also asked the question. So Ritik, I unmuted you. You can yes. हाँ ओके कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है उसने भी क्लोज कर दिया देन रजत unmuted you. What's your question? You mute yourself directly as soon as I unmuted you. You are muting yourself. That means there is no question. Yes. Okay. It's okay. Thing is that those people, if you go through the YouTube video, you will find there is an exclamatory sign here. Just marking these exclamatory signs with the markers. This exclamatory sign shows that you open, so you log in into the system, but you are working with something else, and you are not giving any attention to the lecture. Okay, and there are some reports comes. So what I suggest you avoid doing these things. Give attention to your lectures, just not SCPM. I'm saying all lectures because this information, whatever you are going to get from these lectures, is actually going to help you in things. So, in question and answers, some questions are put. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm stopping sharing and I end this session. You are free to what you can say leave the session now. I'm ending the session. Thank you very much for being with me.